The 16th century, England, the wind of change, the age of the Reformation, wars and brutal politics. But among all the kings of that era, one stands out especially, a man who changed history and his country forever. The king whose name is associated with bloody executions. He changed the religion of his country. He executed his own wives and turned from a brilliant prince into a tyrant. This is Henry VIII, the king who destroyed the old order and created a new England. Henry VIII was born in 1491 and was the king's second son. Unlike Arthur's older brother, who was preparing for the throne, since childhood, Henry grew up in luxury, studied science, music, and languages. He dreamed of becoming the perfect knight, and he succeeded. He shouldn't have ruled. But fate decreed otherwise. In 1502, Arthur unexpectedly dies. In his youth, he was a favorite of the people, smart, handsome, athletic. In 1509, at the age of 17, he ascended the throne. And no one suspected what a cruel ruler he would become. The first decade of his reign seemed like a fairy tale. The people loved him, his court was magnificent, and Henry himself looked like a real hero. Henry's main dream is to leave an heir. Henry married Catherine of Aragon, the widow of his brother Arthur. The marriage was blessed by the Pope, but as it turned out, it was doomed. Catherine was a Spanish princess and the widow of his brother. Their marriage was political, but it remained happy for a long time. But as the years passed, they had no sons. The only surviving child is Princess Maria. Henry was afraid that if he did not have a son, the dynasty would be interrupted. Henry was furious. He decided to get a divorce, but the Pope refused him. Enraged, Henry does the impossible, severs ties with the Catholic Church and creates the Anglican Church, declaring himself its head. Then he marries Anne Boleyn. She is smart, ambitious, and knows what she wants. She refused to be the king's mistress and demanded marriage. But the happiness didn't last long. When Anne Boleyn also failed to give birth to a son, Henry accused her of treason and executed her. There were 4 more wives after Anne Boleyn. Jane Seymour finally gives him an heir, but dies in childbirth. Anna of Cleves is a German woman whom Henry divorced after several months of marriage. Catherine Howard is a young queen executed for treason. And the last one is Catherine Parr, the only one who survived the king. The older Henry got, the more violent he was. He executed thousands of people, including his best friends. By the end of his life, Henry had become a tyrant. He suffered from obesity, his weight reached 180 kilograms, and his legs were rotting from diseases. He became paranoid, executing anyone who seemed like an enemy to him. In 1547, the king dies, leaving the throne to his infant son Edward VI. But his influence on history is enormous. Henry VIII created the Anglican Church, consolidated the absolute power of the king, and he set the stage for the reign of his daughter, the great Elizabeth I. What do you think? Was Henry VIII a great king? Write in the comments.